A large, wealthy church was filled with well-dressed members on a bright Sunday morning. The sermon was about to begin. Then the doors creaked open. An old homeless woman shuffled inside. She was barefoot. Her clothes were torn and filthy. Her silver hair was tangled and matted. She smelled of the streets. She walked slowly down the aisle looking for an empty seat. People covered their noses and moved away. Whispers spread through the congregation. Someone laughed quietly. A woman pulled her children closer as if the old woman was dangerous. An usher rushed over and grabbed her arm. "Ma'am, you cannot be here. You are disturbing the service." A deacon joined him. "This is a respectable church. There is a shelter down the street. Go there." The old woman looked at them with tears in her pale, tired eyes. "Please, sir, I just want to pray. I have nowhere else to go." They did not listen. They grabbed her arms and dragged her toward the door as she cried out, "Please, please, I just want to sit in God's house." The congregation watched. Some laughed. Some looked disgusted. No one stood up to help. They pushed her through the doors and she fell on the cold church steps, sobbing alone. The usher dusted off his hands and walked back inside. The pastor stood at the pulpit. Everyone expected him to continue the sermon as if nothing happened. Instead, he said, "Stop the service." The church went silent. The pastor stepped down from the pulpit and walked slowly down the aisle. His face was unreadable. He pushed open the church doors and stepped outside. He knelt beside the old woman crying on the steps. He helped her stand gently. He held her arm and walked her back inside. The congregation gasped. He guided her down the aisle, past the same people who had mocked her, past the usher who had grabbed her, past the deacon who had told her to leave. He sat her in the front row. Then he returned to the pulpit. Tears were streaming down his face. He spoke with a trembling voice. "This woman you just threw out of this church. This woman you called dirty. This woman you said did not belong in God's house." He paused and looked at his mother sitting in the front row. "This is my mother." Gasps echoed through the sanctuary. Someone dropped their Bible. The usher's face turned white. The pastor continued, his voice breaking. 40 years ago, this woman gave me everything she had so I could go to seminary. She worked 3 jobs. She skipped meals so I could eat. She broke her body so I could build my future. And when I finally became successful, I lost her. She disappeared into the streets, and I've been searching for her for 15 years. Tears streamed down faces throughout the congregation. And today, on the day I prepared a sermon about loving the least of these, you threw my mother out of my church. The deacon who had grabbed her fell to his knees, sobbing. "I am so sorry, Pastor. I did not know." The pastor looked at him and said, "That is the problem. You should not need to know who she is to treat her with dignity." He stepped down from the pulpit and walked to his mother. He knelt before her and held her hands. "I finally found you, Mama. I am never letting you go again." She touched his face with her trembling, wrinkled hands. "I prayed every night that God would let me see you one more time." He answered my prayer. The entire church was weeping. The pastor stood and faced the congregation one final time. "The doors of this church are open to everyone, the broken, the forgotten, the ones the world throws away. If you cannot love them, you do not belong here." From that day forward, that church became known as the one that never turned anyone away. Because you never know whose mother, whose father, whose child is standing at your door in disguise. If you believe the church should welcome everyone, type amen and share this with someone who needs to hear it.